What is up, Jags fans? Here we are in the offseason, talking Jags, all things Jags tonight. We're going to be talking Jaguars in the Pro Bowl. We're going to be talking the contracts coming up, specifically Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, how much space the Jags have, what realistically will it look like, and then maybe like other things Jags. So basically, I just re-summarized the title of the video into a longer sentence, but that's what we're doing here today. This is a fan show. So get into the comments. Give me your thoughts. I want to hear what you think about all those things, Jags. We're in the offseason, boys. We can take a deep breath. We can relax. We can just take a second to kind of breathe, right? We can breathe, right? It's going to be good. We're going to talk things, Jags. It's going to be a fun show. I'm super excited. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, just subscribe. You're going to watch it anyways. If you're someone that rewatches it, if you're someone that watches in the live shows Tuesday nights, we started a little early tonight. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit later tonight, and so I figured if I started 30 minutes early, then I could get to that earlier. So we're starting at 8:30 when typically we start at 9. So I appreciate all you guys being here, all the live show members, all the people rewatching it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. The Twitter and the Instagram are down below. You can follow those if you'd like. I would prefer if you did, right? So because it is a fan show, I always like to shout out the first person that gets into the chat, because it's quite the competition. Jaggernaut, who's typically right up there, says, "What's up, all?" Look at that. Look at Jaggernaut coming in, just asking everyone how they're doing and what's up. That's a beautiful thing. Nolly Full Cab is the first channel member in the chat, and he spams the Blake Bortles emojis because Blake Bortles still lives in our hearts, right? Still lives in our. Yes, he still lives in Jacksonville, but he lives in our hearts. It might technically be Ponte Vedra that he lives in now. I don't know. DJM says Jason San. Cassius Clay says Duval from Buffalo, New York. Robert Atzert says let's go. 100 miles per hour channel member just simply says bulky. Interesting. Are you saying you're a fan of bulky? Jag Gator says, how did the Lions blow a 24-7 lead? I thought about coming on this show tonight and just talking about the Super Bowl, but I'm so tired of talking about the Super Bowl. Everyone's talking about the Super Bowl, and I get it. That's how the Super Bowl goes. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing, but I'm just sick of it, dude. I don't want to hear any more about Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to hear any more about Brock Purdy. I'm just done. I'm just over it. So, you know what I said? Screw it. What could I say that hasn't been said 100 million times by now? So let's talk Jags. How about that? DJM says, fire Caldwell and Balky for cap space. I like that idea. Now, it may not directly lead to cap space, but it may be a better use of our cap space. Robert Atcher says, Aluakon should have made the Pro Bowl with Ingram. Yeah, Ingram should have been a first selection. Like, I get he didn't have the touchdowns, but the catches alone should have put him in there. Jaggernaut says, what can we do, guys? Not sure how we get out of this funk. We're not in a funk. We're feeling good, boys. We are back. We are feeling good. Taylor, too. Taylor? Who are these people? They're already cut. What year is this? Sea Breacher says, yo, what up, Sea Breacher? Sea Breacher, I think, is still reeling from being out-fragged by me and Rainbow Six Siege last night. Or maybe whatever night it was. And you could watch it, too. It's on my Twitch channel. My Twitch channel is in the video description. Not going to spend a lot of time plugging that, but it's fun. It's fun. Robert Attard says, spread rumors on X about Balky to get him fired. I wish I had that kind of power. Gator says cut Jenkins, Sheriff, Williams, Foley, Robinson, Calavon, and Chazon. Well, we're going to look at the contracts here in a second. DJM says, how would trading for Devontae Adams hit our cap space? Probably not very good. Probably not good. Jaggernaut says, hope Jags get a good look at these Senior Bowl players and fortify our trenches. I also thought about talking about the Senior Bowl tonight, but I didn't watch any of it, so that would be disingenuous. Bruce McGriff says, I have the blueprint. Oh, Bruce, okay. You got us all on the edge of our seats now. All right, with that anticipation build, you better bring something. Jaggernaut says, wish there was a thoughts of the game and we could get insight of how our players are feeling and thinking during these playoffs. They're probably on the golf course or traveling or back home. They're probably not thinking about football at all. 100 miles per hour says, I think we should cut Luke Jokel. 100 miles per hour, what year are we in here? Luke Jokel? Is this now a joke? Is this now a bit that we're doing now? We're talking about former players? Ben Perry says, what's up, my guy? What up, Ben? All right, I want to take a look at a couple things here. All right, so here is the, just to take a look here, this is the PFF's top, what do they call it? 2024 NFL free agency rankings, top 150 players set to enter free agency. Now, are we going to sit here and go through all 150 players? Absolutely not. But are we going to go through some of them? Yes. And are some of you going to say PFF sucks? Yes, you are. Do I care? No, I do not. All right, so let's go down the list here. Number 1, Chris Jones. Now, my instincts are telling me that like most of these players aren't going to be cut. Are going to be re-signed from their team. I think Chris Jones is a guy who is going to get re-signed. Now, this brings up an interesting. A tag for Jones would land north of $33 million. It's a lot of money on a franchise tag. You could re-sign him and pay him less than that, and that's a guy that you want to re-sign. The free agent comparison is in Ndamukong Suh in 2015. Okay, so I don't really think he's going to be available because he's absolutely a beast. He like probably single-handedly has this team in the Super Bowl because the offense has not been that good. Jaggernaut says, haha. Jarrett Williams says, what's up, Jason? I'll let y'all in on a secret. I'm Bro Dog. No, you're not. We all know that's Trent Baalke's burner account. We all know that. Broad Dog. And what's funny is like somebody pulled up a tweet that burner account tweeted at somebody and said Calavon's the answer, whatever year. And I'm so glad and happy that nobody tagged me in that. I thought for sure I was going to get a Calavon Chazon tag, but I think I did a good enough job kind of coming off of Calavon this year. I was never on him. I just like, you guys know, I always said that I think that he's a guy, that could have been just young and learning the game and could be a late bloomer. But I fell off of that sentiment this year. And I wish him the best. I hope he goes somewhere in the NFC and does well. Number 2, Kirk Cousins. I don't know how to feel about this. He's pretty old. And he just tore his Achilles, which I know is not a death sentence anymore. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is in the same situation. But I don't know, man. Like, what? I don't know who goes after Kirk Cousins this offseason. Like, Atlanta? Vegas? Washington? Washington can't go back to Kirk Cousins. I don't know, man. I'm interested to see how his stock here happens. Phillip Rivers in 2020, not quite an accurate comparison, I think, PFF. Sorry. Number 3. Here's our boy, Josh Allen. Allen backed up a strong 22 with an extraordinary 2023, racking up career-high in quarterback pressures, 90, sacks, 19, and with a 20.5% pass rush win rate that was among the league's best. Top free agent comparison, Melvin Ingram 2017. Pass rush grade, 89.4. True pass set, pass rush grade, 91.4. Pass rush win rate, 17.5. Run defense grade, 82.4. Percentage of the cap signing, we don't know yet. But we do know that he probably will get re-signed. So again, another guy like Chris Jones, who is probably going to be re-signed by their team. C. Breacher says, should we re-sign Trevor this offseason? This offseason? I don't think they will. Obviously, the earlier you sign him, the cheaper you're going to get him long term. But I think he's more of a maybe right as the season's starting or midway through the season. Some GMs and players don't like to negotiate contracts during the season. Whatever it takes to get him back. But again, yeah, the longer you wait, the more he's going to cost. 100 miles per hour says, do you think there is some idea that maybe Balky didn't draft Josh Allen, so he doesn't care to pay him and Walker's his guy? I mean, that would be insanely arrogant of him. But if we do know one thing about Trent Balky, he's an extremely arrogant guy. I don't think that's the case. We're not talking about like a good player. We're talking about one of the best players in the league. Now, if we were talking about a good player, I could see that. But again, we're talking about one of the best players in the league, hands down, across all positions. Bruce McGriff. Oh, did I miss his first one? I got to go back and check this out. Where are you at, Bruce? Did Bruce start with 2? That'd be very mean of him. Let's see here. I have the blueprint. 2, bring in the man who made Tom Brady and demote Peterson to offensive coordinator. I don't think that's ever happened where a head coach was demoted to offensive coordinator. I don't think in the history of the NFL that's ever happened. So that would be extremely unprecedented. Maybe it's tongue-in-cheek. The good thing about bringing in Belichick, which we won't do, is that he would want czar status and he want to take over GM responsibilities, which would, in theory, be good, but he hasn't been drafting very well either. So, I don't know. 100 miles per hour says, that's what we need. Fire. Let Trevor sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year. Broncos could use Kirk. Volkman says, are you sure? Are you so sure Allen will get re-signed? Balky strikes me as a tag Allen again to make him mad, then trade him in week 4 for a second and 2/5 so we can draft more of an inside linebacker and running back kind of guy. You guys are bringing it tonight. You're bringing it with the jokes tonight. You're bringing it. I like it. But I think he will get – I think you're going to see a similar situation play out like you did with Evan Ingram, where he's tagged and then re-signed before the season starts. Hassan Ahmad says, re-sign Josh. Don't screw this up, Balky. 100 miles per hour says, sadly, when talking about Balky, you have to throw all logic out the window. Let's take a look at some more of these free agents here. We have T. Higgins, who I know I've talked about this a good amount. I was on UCF Jaguars channel last week. It's still up on his page. It's like the second to last, he's done one since then, I believe. So the one before his last one. I talked about T. Higgins, and I said, like, everybody wants to go the route of – not everybody. A lot of people want to go the route of not re-signing Calvin Ridley, keep that second-round pick, and then going to getting T. Higgins, which, yes, would be a great theory. But you got to remember, including the Bengals, there's going to be 32 teams, and there's 32 fan bases that are all talking about bringing in T. Higgins. Everybody wants T. Higgins. So you have – a 1 in 32 chance of being the team that brings in T. Higgins. I don't like those odds. What odds I do like is keeping Ridley in a team and system and city that he's already in. I like those odds. And when we look at Ridley versus Higgins, yeah, I think Higgins is right now the better player, younger. But I don't like those odds of going and getting T. Higgins, especially if it means you're not bringing back Ridley. So I kind of lean toward bringing back Ridley, me personally. That's just me. That's just me personally. Let's keep going down here. Brian Burns, Carolina Edge. They talked about trading him. I could see them re-signing him. Why would you not re-sign him? He's one of the best players on your team, if not the best player on your team. I think they've tried to – you got to spend money at some point if you're the Panthers. And I think Brian Burns is you got to sign your edges. If you have a good in-house edge, you got to bring him back. You got to bring him back. We'll move down here because I think there's a guy that I think the Jags could be a candidate for, potentially. Justin Matabuki, not a guy I think that we're a candidate for. I'm not sure the Ravens cap situation. I do have a page up here with the cap situations going on. But I think he's going to be expensive. And the Jags don't have a ton of money to spend, especially not on a defensive lineman. So, although we do need a defensive lineman, I don't think he's the guy we bring in. Free agent comp, Javon Hargrave in 2020. Great signing. Don't think he's the guy, though. Christian Wilkins now. This is a guy I think could be the guy we bring in. It says Wilkins hoped to get an extension done before 2023 season, but it didn't let his lack of one amid many of the positions slow him down. Wilkins is a good run defender as any interior defensive lineman in the NFL, setting career high in every pass rushing category this season, including pass rush win rate, pressure rate, sacks, quarterback hits, and pressures. Now, the Dolphins are not in a situation where they have a ton of cap space. So they are going to be a team that's going to have to shed some players, and I think this is the guy the Jags could go after. Look at the comp. Malik Jackson, 2016. Where did Malik Jackson go in 2016? The Jags. So I think this is a good I think this is it, and I think this is like maybe our big splash. I hope it's our big splash in free agency, because when we look at I'm about to bring up Spotrac, and we're going to look at the contracts and who I would cut and how much money that would free up. If you cut who I would cut, you would have plenty of money for Christian Wilkins. So I think this is the guy. He's on my radar for sure. DJM says, hire Peyton Manning as Trevor's quarterback coach. I think Peyton Manning is liking this gig on ESPN. Cali Jag says, Balky will find a way to screw it up. Another Balky disaster class bastard. Volkfang channel member says, what can I say? When you have a clown as GM, the comedy just flows free and strong. Hunter says facts and then talks in Spanish, which I'm not going to try to. I can read Spanish, but it would take me a while, and that would be boring YouTube content. C. Reacher says, who would you cut this offseason? Well, I'm going to show you here in a second. Maybe I'll go. I'm going to rifle through some of these tabs, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Trayshawn Jenkins, a play on word for trash and Rayshawn. Yeah, he is. Spoiler alert, he's one I'm cutting. Volk says, the interior offensive line free agent class seems very weak, no? Should look for those at the top of the draft. Shay, channel member, great commenter, says, I agree that Ridley is back. Jason, who are the starting linebackers in 2024 for the Jags? I think it's Aluakon and Lloyd again. I think they bring back Aluakon. I think Lloyd, PFF has him as our most improved player. You know, these analytics guys, they're going to look at the analytics, even though on their eyeball test, it didn't seem like he was too important on defense. But I think he's a guy they're looking to improve every year. You got to have an off-ball linebacker nowadays with the scrambling quarterbacks and the offenses that teams run. So I think we're rolling to 2024 with both those linebackers as starting. And I think they like Ventrell Miller. I think they like Ventrell Miller. I mean, they wouldn't have drafted him that high if they didn't think he could be a guy that could contribute. And I know they have Muma, but I think they like Ventrell Miller too. And I know Ventrell Miller got hurt earlier in the season, but I think they may, as arrogant as this front office is, I believe they think that when they get Ventrell Miller back this year, he will be contributing to the linebacker rotation. Whether or not you want to believe that or not, I think they believe that. So, Robert Atzert, got to save $10 million for the draft. I think that's factored in, I think. Franchise Chazon, says guy. Oh, okay. Let's just quickly go through some of these. Antoine Winfield, good player. Jalen Johnson. I don't know if we're going to go make a splash at DB like that. L'Jarius Sneed, good player. Again, I think he's more of a 1. I think for anything, we're looking for a nickel. Michael Pittman Jr. Some people have talked about Michael Pittman Jr. being the replacement for Calvin Ridley if we do let him walk. Now, that could be a guy. Again, a lot of people, a lot of teams want Michael Pittman. Very good receiver. He's a lot like Christian Kirk. I like him. If you told me, hey, we're not bringing back Ridley, we're keeping this second-round pick, and we're going and getting Michael Pittman, I don't think I'd be too upset. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but in that scenario, I'm okay. Look at this, Allen Robinson comp. Danielle Hunter, yeah, should have made that move earlier in the year. Mike Evans, don't think he's going to come in here. Tyron Smith, I think we're good at tackle, kind of. Maybe, I don't know. Kendall Fuller. All right, so let's move on to the next one here. This is wide receiver rate of. Can you all see this? Do I need to zoom in? No, I can't go any. Oh, going backwards is actually bigger. Okay. Wide receiver rate of getting open versus single man coverage in 2023. Now I know this is a very specific ranking. Wide receiver rate of getting open versus single man coverage. But it happens a good amount. Christian Kirk, number 4. Almost 48% of the time he's open against single man coverage. Now, we know Kirk's good. Doug Peterson and Press Taylor, they're calling the plays to get him open. So, but I mean, look at this list he's with. Dontavian Wicks, Wan'Dale Robinson, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Rondale Moore, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans. I mean, you got some big names on here. You really do. Devin Lloyd going to be 30 in a few years. I don't know why we drafted him. Yeah, you're right. He's not a young guy. He is a young guy, but he's not like when I was talking about Chazon being a young guy. I think Chazon was like 2 years younger than Lloyd when he was drafted. Guy says, I hope so, but his foot is so bum. Yeah. Brandon McKenzie says, we are definitely keeping Ridley based on Balky's press conference. Okay. I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, let's get to all right. This is salary cap rankings, okay? How much salary cap each team has, like, right now. Okay? So this is salary cap space right here. We have the Commanders at number 1. We knew that. They've been saving money. I think this year they're going to try to make a splash. New coach, probably bringing a quarterback in the draft, and they have some money to spend. So this is the team that could go get a guy like T. Higgins and a guy like Michael Pittman, and bringing in guys like Mike Evans, right? So these are the people you're having to compete with. The Titans, the Texans, as good as they were, third best cap situation. Now seeing 2 AFC South teams in the top 3, not great. Not great. Patriots, a lot of bad teams up here that were trying to save money this year. Another AFC South team right here, the Colts in 5th. Bengals, Lions. You may be asking, man, where are the Jags at? We got to scroll down here. And the Jags are 19th with $14,400,000. Now, there's some things they can do, as all teams, some cuts they can make, people they cannot bring back. But they're only 3 teams out of the red. 3 teams out of the red. I mean, not a great cap situation. Not a great cap situation. Like $10 million real amount of money they can spend. So 100 miles per hour says Balky sounds like a stop smoking ad from 2007. Volk says, I don't know why Balky even has a press conference when he talks his 90% coach speak if we're being nice. Hey, he wasn't even good at that, to be honest. Nasir Premier says, I give Balky a lot of flack for drafting linebackers, but Junior Colson is one I wouldn't mind drafting. I just don't think we have a need at linebacker. I mean, I just rattled off a few. Aluakon, Lloyd, Muma, Ventrell Miller. Those are all guys they like. All guys they like. So I don't think you see a linebacker. Then again, they draft linebackers all the time. Malik Washington says the Colts and the Texans are going to be a problem. Well, now they have to spend that money correctly now, right? Sometimes you can be a victim of there not being great free agents in your class, and you have to overspend on a guy who's not worth it. That's how free agency goes. But they're drafting well. And that's where they're a problem, is because they are drafting well. Nasir says Texans are about to be so loaded. Volk says, I don't know how you can be so confident that a guy is going to be on your team when you haven't even talked to him about re-signing is ridiculous. I'll play devil's advocate here. Maybe like Josh Allen has said that he wants to come back, and Trent Baalke is willing to give him highest paid D-end money. Now, if someone genuinely wants to come back to your team and you offer to make him the highest paid D-end in the league, I think he'll come back. And I think you can be confident in that. So just devil's advocate, maybe that's what's going on in the brain of Trent Baalke. Dangerous place, though. Malik Washington says, Baalke definitely fired if Colts and Texans upgrade next year better than Baalke. Well, if the Colts and Texans upgrade better than us, then we're not in a good spot. We are not in a good spot. Record-wise. So, yes, Baalke would be gone. Volk says, Balky might have just said Tom Brady is coming out of retirement to play for us. No, I haven't talked to him either. Tom Brady's going to Fox, taking Greg Olson's spot. Balky is good at blaming everyone but himself. Still the 49ers snake. All right, let's peek on over to the mock draft. This is PFF's mock draft. And again, they do 100 of these, so we're not going to put too much stock into this, but it's just interesting read to look at. Jaguars, biggest need, wide receiver. Again, this is just saying that Ridley's not back. The pick, Adonai Mitchell, Texas. Mitchell's a smooth route runner for a guy, 6'4". His body control and ability to change speeds throughout his routes gives him the natural ability to create separation. Plus, his size and length make them one of the best red zone threats in the country in terms of efficiency. So if they don't bring back Ridley, I think this is like the move, is getting a guy like this. Big guy, tall guy, red zone threat. This would be a good pick if we don't bring her. And I know everybody wants to shore up the offensive line, and I get that. But it's tough taking interior offensive lineman in the first round. It's tough, and especially at 17. And if you can go get a playmaker like Mitchell, I'm not advocating this. I'm just saying it's not a bad idea, and I see where they get it from. And again, this is all predicated on the fact that they're not going to bring Ridley back, which is how they're drafting. Trent Baalke has a brain, says Jared Williams. Yo Johnny says, cut Robinson and move Anton to left tackle. Upgrade and save $17 million. I mean, Cam Robinson only played 8 games this year. I heard that today, and I was like, dang, dude, like, that's wild. He only played 8 games for us. It seemed like in those 8 games, he was our best player, to be frank. So I wouldn't mind bringing him back, because I think bringing him back for another year, you either have a tackle or you don't. I've always said that. You either have a tackle or you don't. Now, the best ability is availability. So if he's not available, then how good is he? But I think when he's healthy, he's a really good tackle, and I'm a firm believer, and you can't have too many offensive linemen. So I wouldn't mind bringing him back. I get the fact that you could move Anton over to left tackle, and I do get you can save $17 million, but I don't really trust Walker Little at the right. I don't think he was that good when he played right tackle. I think he's a better left tackle than a right tackle. So I don't know what they're going to do there. I don't know. Nasir says, I'd have to see Adonis Mitchell's measurements. He might be shorter than 6'4". Might be another Leggett. Yeah, that's true. Might get him on the measuring stick, see how tall he actually is. If you're going to draft wide receiver round 1, it's got to be Brian Thomas, says Yo Johnny. Snakes have small brains, says Robert Hansard. 100 miles per hour says, the cut Cam people really want to see Walker Little play. Yeah, and I kind of talked about how I feel about Walker Little there. All right, where do I have next year? Most improved player, according to PFF, and this is just PFF grade. Devin Lloyd, who went from 48.3 to 78.1. Now, abysmal in year 1. Abysmal. 48.3, that is absolutely abysmal. I don't think he was that great this year. It says Lloyd was a liability at times in coverage and run defense during his rookie campaign, but he improved in both facets for his second season. He finished with a 90.3 run defense grade, which ranked 3rd among linebackers. Like, did he strike anybody as the 3rd best run defensive linebacker? I don't think anybody on this team could be in the top 20 in any stat that involves stopping the run. Now, we do have to keep in mind, Jaguars first half of the season and Jaguars second half of the season were 2 completely different teams. And when you look at that fact, like recency bias has us imagining the Jags defense the way that it ended the season, which is probably how it should be because that's what we saw last. But they were really good in the first half of the season. And a lot of those stats and numbers like kind of spilled into what we saw, which kind of throws some of these things off. Like if he had great weeks 1 through 3, they would offset weeks 15 through 18, which we know weeks 15 through 18 are way more important. So this is where some of these analytics can get you in trouble, right? We see analytics like get people in trouble all the time. The Detroit Lions coach, Campbell, should have kicked the field goals. He's not a kick field goal guy. In that moment, he should have kicked the field goal. Rays manager Kevin Cash, The analytics said to take Blake Snell out of Game 7 in the World Series against the Dodgers because the analytics said that he wasn't good against lineups the third time through. But he had given up 2 hits, and you take him out and you lose the game. So sometimes you have to kind of ignore the analytics, and you have to kind of trust your eyeballs and trust your heart. And I think people can get in trouble when they do that. Nasir says Javon Foster looked good in the Senior Bowl practice today. Good upgrade at tackle from Walker Little. 100 miles per hour says, I'm down for any trench player. Yo, Johnny says, Balker Burner was talking about Tyler Goyton, who would be round 1, then said Anton can be left tackle in his conference. That's why I predict the Cam cut for $17 million. Do you think that's really his Burner? I don't think that's really his Burner. I think it's probably like his brother or dad or something like that. Nasir Premier, we've seen Devin Lloyd miss multiple gaps in the run game this year. I know. I mean, we broke down the film, and I don't understand this. 100 says, oh, where would we be if Balky picked the younger and better linebacker, Quay Walker? Volk says, I thought Devin Lloyd was good, but when he had a miss, it was glaringly bad. Plus, like everyone else, he got injured and looked like Dookie coming back. Malik Washington says, I'm trading Walker Little, Luke Fortner, and both DTs for some guys with some felonies. Oh, I like it. All right, here's one free agent every team needs to sign to keep on their team. Jacksonville Jaguars. Shocker, Josh Allen. We don't need to read this. We all know he's bringing him back. And look, Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones. So it's pretty well thought the Jags would bring back Josh Allen. Rookie grades. Now, this article was written in January 24th. But they're wrong. They're not, this isn't right. So I don't know what stock to put in this. I'm just going to put it up here. I don't understand why they did this. This is the draft class. This is not important here. Anton Harrison, 54.6 grade. He was better than that. It says he was 72 out of 89. He was better than that. Brenton Strange, 51, 80th out of 96. Not good. Tank Bigsby. It says he played 1 snap. I think this was just an error because he obviously played more than 1 snap. 59.9, rank NA. Ventrell Miller didn't play. Tyler Lacey, 58.2, 145 snaps. That's not a lot. Yasir Abdullah, 45 snaps. I don't know if that's right or not, but a 30.6 grade. Not good. Antonio Johnson, 73.8. We'll give you Antonio Johnson. Parker Washington. He played more than 1 snap. Again, I don't know where this is coming from. 59.9. I'll give you Parker Washington. Christian Braswell. Didn't play. Eric Hallett. Only made the team. Cooper Hodges was injured. Daquan Jackson. Elijah Cooks. DJ Coleman. Not a good percentage here, boys. Not a good percentage. Bulky thing to do is to use tag on Allen. He holds out. We lose second rounder re-signing Ridley. Steven Giles says, last. That's okay, Steven. You're here. 100 says, yeah, this team is missing character concerns. I'm willing to bring in Antonio Brown and bond out Henry Ruggs for a spark. Oh, man. Trade all 53 guys. Sign scrubs off the street. Go into 2025 with the first overall pick and $220 million in cap. That's the Madden strategy right there. I like that. Nasir says, nasty draft class from Balky. Malik says, we want murderers. Look at the Lions draft class. Oh, that's going to hurt. I don't want to do that. Ugh. Jahmyr Gibbs, hit. Jack Campbell, hit. Sam Laporta, hit. Brian Branch, hit. Hendon Hooker. I think they like Hendon Hooker. Didn't play, but we'll give him a hit there. Don't know this guy. Don't know this guy. Don't really know anyone else. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there. All right, last thing I want to look at before we talk about Pro Bowl and how much I don't care. Here's the salary cap right here. Sorry about the formatting here. It's a free website, so you know how that goes. Let's hide this for a second. All right, so the Jags currently have $17 million in cap space. I think some say 17, some say 14. I don't know what to believe anymore with the salary cap. I don't think it's real. So let's take a look here. So me personally, I'm cutting Brandon Sheriff. That saves you $9 million. We'll skip Cam for now. I'm cutting Rayshon. That saves you another 5-1. I'm keeping Zay. I'm keeping Darius Williams. Roy Robertson Harris, if you cut him, you actually lose money. It's cheaper to keep Roy than it is to cut him, surprisingly enough. Dewey, I think you save a little bit of money with Dewey, cutting Dewey. I think Gotsis is a cap casualty. Pro Bowler Ross Matisic staying on the team. I mean, you're not really cutting anyone else here. I mean, no one that really matters. So if we do all this, we were up to $34 million. Okay, so we're saving $16 million. That's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so people are saying cutting Zay. Oh, Fatu Kasi. Forgot about him. Cutting Fatu Kasi. That saves us another 4. If you cut Zay, you're saving 4-4. But I like Zay Jones. You might be able to restructure Roy Robinson. Let's see what this does. It doesn't save that much money. And we just did that. So 38 if you cut Fatu Kasi. Now, if you cut Cam Robinson, you save $16 million. And now we're at $54 million. And now we can go out and get some heavy hitters. But I like Cam. I'm keeping Cam. I'm sorry. If you cut Darius Williams, you save $10 million. But I like Darius Williams. I'm keeping Darius Williams. The only other move you can make here is again, just cutting Cam. I don't think they think this team is too far away. I think they keep him. I think we're sitting there with $38 million. Volkfang says the Jags and the Lions have been almost identical, except for they've drafted better. Chad A20 says, sorry, I don't know if you've covered upcoming free agents yet. Joined late. CJ Gardner-Johnson would be an interesting free agent and has a lot of connections to current defensive staff. He adds physicality and intensity that we need. I think they like Antonio Johnson. You might be right, though. You might be right. CJ might be a guy they could bring in. I like Gardner-Johnson. I think he's a good player. But I think they like Antonio Johnson. Cutting Zay. People want me to cut Zay. All right, I'll cut Zay. There you go, boys. He's gone. Congrats. You cut Zay Jones, guys. We saved $4.4 million. We did it. Steven Giles says, Zay was looking awesome before his injury, so agree on keeping him. Thank you. Seabridger says, you're probably not finding a better receiver than Zay for $4 million. Thank you. Cam, the only tough guy, I believe, on the O-line. Yeah, you're right, Malik. Yeah, I mean, you got to do something with the O-line. Got to build for the future, man. Zay Jones is replaceable. Okay. Agreed. Yeah. So this is what I think it looks like. Is there anyone else that we could kind of like? Roy Robertson Harris doesn't help us. That's what's annoying. I wish we re-signed him, which is meh, whatever. What happens if you cut Walker Little? You're not cutting Walker Little. Beathard, how much does he save you? 1.7? Nah. Fortner, what does that do for us? Nothing. We should though. Nothing on the books, but what happens if we cut Ross? Ooh, no, I'm not cutting Ross. I think Monteric Brown's definitely getting cut. Saving $956,000, even though it's only 25. Tavon Campbell, see you, bud. Who else we got? None of these guys really matter. So I don't know, man. $44 million if you keep Cam. 60 if you don't. What's Foye give you? Foye gives you Foye $7 million. You got to keep Foye. What's Kirk give you? 2. Yeah, you got to keep him. You might be able to restructure Kirk. Is he down here already? Oh, wait, did I cut him? He's still cut. Where'd he go? We lost Kirk. Bring him back. All right. So let's see here. Let's add. Well, no, there's no point because we cut Kirk on accident. I don't know where he went. He disappeared somehow. Restructure Williams. Let's see what we get here. You can't for some reason. He doesn't have a base salary he can restructure. RG3 is a backup. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, so what are your thoughts on the Pro Bowl, boys? Evan Ingram finally getting his due. Ross Matisic getting in. Sweet, long snapper. Obviously, Josh Allen. Are you going to watch it? You going to watch the flag football? You going to watch the game? How much do we save by cutting Trevor? Only $4.6 million. Not that much. I think he's worth $4.6 million. Probably keep him for that. Probably not going to be able to replace a quarterback for $4.6 million. Someone get those guys some steroids. Have you seen the program early 90s? We just seem a little soft. Yo, Johnny says, I thought Monteric Brown played well. Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know, man. He's okay. I think he's okay at the line of scrimmage. And that, you bring up a good point. Ryan Nielsen likes to put his corners up the line of scrimmage and play press and run coverage. Maybe you're right. Maybe Monteric, you bring up a good point. Monteric Brown might be the only corner whose skill set will fit better in Ryan Nielsen's defense as far as how he plays coverages or how he did in Atlanta. Now, I'm not saying that. Go back and watch if you haven't watched my Ryan Nielsen film breakdown, go watch it, because I already made the case for why I think Campbell and Williams will be okay in this defense. But you're kind of making me think, actually, Monteric Brown actually skill set, big, physical, line of scrimmage corner might work out better under Ryan Nielsen. Williams is only 5'9" and about to be 30 in man coverage scheme. Cut. You do save $10 million if you cut him, but he's so good, I don't think you can. Malik Washington says, could teach Trevor a lot. Pro Bowl is this weekend, right? Yeah, it is, Nasir. I'm probably not going to watch it. I don't care. I haven't watched the Pro Bowl, or the Pooh Bowl, as 100 miles per hour calls it. I haven't really watched the Pro Bowl in years, since I was like a little kid. I have no desire to see that. I will probably watch it, honestly, but I miss the older Pro Bowl, says Isaiah Jones. The Sean Taylor lighting up Brian Mormon Pro Bowls, those were the good ones. Are you a Jags scriptwriter? Shay says, lucky us, Brown is the only corner under contract after this year. After this year? What about, oh, yeah, I guess you got to re-sign Tyson Campbell, don't you? Brown did flash some last year. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. All right, boys, that's going to wrap up my show. It's a short show tonight. Just wanted to pop in here, talk a little Jags offseason. Appreciate y'all being here. I'm going to be doing some stuff here soon. I got like 3 weeks of work left at my job. That's like really like working a lot. So 3 weeks and I'm done. And then I'll be doing some stuff I'm excited about. But appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to everyone that watched. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. You can leave a comment if you'd like after the fact. I think that helps. You can tell a friend that's a Jags fan, like, hey, there's this cool YouTube channel that you should watch, and you can just point them that way. Thank you to the channel members that are here. 100 miles per hour, Shay, Sea Breacher. We had Volkfang in here. We had a lot of good channel members in here, and everyone else, great job commenting. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I never take for granted that you guys are here watching. Nolly Full Cab was here early. So thank you. I will see you guys in a week. If I pop on here sooner, that'd be great, but guaranteed Tuesday night. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you guys very soon. As always, go Jags.